Alright guys, welcome back. Still your boy Prince TV. In this particular episode, we are going to talk about the immigrants who arrived. I boarded this news already where I show you guys where they were kind of like rescuing these immigrants. Can you imagine that since this is why they rescued these immigrants? This operation happened, I think, on the 31st of December 2020, on the 1st and then that of the 2nd. These 3 days, they rescued immigrants. But since all this why, they have not distributed these migrants. They are still in the big ship. You understand? They are trying to follow some protocols. Okay, now let's see how they are going about these immigrants, what they have done. If these people are still in the big ship there, let's try to get this update in this particular place. Because not just to report to you guys that immigrant land, we have to tell you how they went, how did they distribute them. You understand? All right, it said here, the open arms ship with 265 migrants on board rescue in recent days in various rescue operations in the Sicilian Channel arrived in front of the docks of Porta Empedocle. You understand? All right, it said after Malta's refusal, Italy assigned the port of Agrigento as a safe port of landing. You understand? All right, it said Red Cross personnel are now expected to board and subject migrants and crew to COVID-19 rapid test. You understand? Okay, they expected, the Italian government, they accepted this kind of like immigrants who arrived. This is why we talk about Luciano LARMORGESE every time. Hadn't been is the time of Matteo Salvini. Matteo Salvini will leave this immigrant to kind of like stay there in the sea without allowing them to come in. Now the Italian government, Luciano LARMORGESE, the Prime Minister, Giuseppe Conte and the rest, assigned the kind of like the Red Cross to check a rapid test on these immigrants who arrived in these recent days. Okay, let's go forward. He said here, with the result obtained, the approximately 50 minorities present will be disembarked on the docks of Porta Empedocle, where then all those tested negative to the swamp. You understand? All right, he said here, with the result obtained, the approximately 50 minors present will be disembarked on the docks of Porta Empedocle, where then all those tested negative to the swamps will be transferred to the Villa Sacania Reception Center in Saculiena. You understand? All these names are Italian names. He said, where they will have to carry out anti-coronavirus health surveillance. You understand? All right, he said here, all the other migrants, about 215 adults, will instead be transferred by the Coast Guard patrol boats to be quarantined. You understand? Okay, so guys, in all these days, the people who they rescue in this period, they were about 50 minority. When they say minority, that is underage. They were on 50 underage in these people who they rescue in this period. And then the 215 adults, they said now they have to kind of like give them quarantine first before they can be distributed out. You understand? Okay, let's go a little bit forward so that we can understand one or two things here. All right, he said here, while we wait for a safe harbor, our old third boat dock turns into a playground. It could, and the weather is getting worse. They need to get Aswan right away. You understand? All right, he said, thus had written the NGO Open Arms through its social pages, launching a new SOS, accompanying him photos of the children saved in the last 2 days while they play. You understand? So the photos you guys are seeing there are the children who they rescue a part of this operation. You understand? So this is what this Open Arms did in these days. So now what I want you guys to understand in this particular article here is that they have already rescued these immigrants and the Italian government accepted them, and then they divided the children from the adults. It kind of like to quarantine the adults to know if they have COVID-19 before they can distribute these immigrants. So this is what this update is all about. It's just to let you guys know how those people who they rescue, how they went about the kind of like distribution, how they distributed these immigrants. All right, let's go a little bit forward. He said here, the latest rescues on the morning of January 2nd A note reads after being alerted once again by the NGO alarm phone of a boat in distress. The open arms ship with emergency personnel on board rescued about 96 people traveling on a drafting a wooden boat. You understand? Those are the people who they rescued. All right, he said, you left Zuara on December 31st after second days in the open seas without food or water. Read a note. The 96 people rescued rescued 2 women and 19 minorities. You understand? All right, so guys, let's end this reading here. Let me summarize everything. So this update is just that, Italian government really accepted those who arrived in these recent days, which is on the 31st, on the 1st, and then the 2nd. The people who arrived, the Italian government accepted them, and then the adults, they tried to kind of like quarantine them, while the children, they separated them in different places. So now, they already accepted these people. We said thanks be to God that they kind of like landed safely without having any issue, having any problem. This is why we love Luciano LARMORGESE and Giuseppe Conte. So whatever you think about this successful operation by the open arms on this immigration, let me know at the comment section. Then when we go to another news and see how it look like. Alright guys, this particular update is to let you guys know how the Scotland are preparing, or how the Scotland government are kind of like making a decision to face a new general lockdown, a national lockdown. When they say national lockdown, that is to say general lockdown which the country will shut down like the one we experienced here in Italy at the first time. You understand? Alright, now the Scotland government, they are saying that the new variant coronavirus, that is the new strange coronavirus that is kind of like spreading faster, that started in UK, which I reported to you guys, have not a kind of like landed again in Scotland. You understand? And then the government are now deciding that they have to kind of like start immediately to vaccinate their citizens in order to avoid this new strange of coronavirus. You understand? All right, so guys, let's watch the video where the minister was explaining everything, how they are kind of like going through this pandemic, what is going on right away in Scotland. When we come back, we'll summarize the video.
Cabinet met this morning to assess the up-to-date COVID situation, which I must say at the outset is extremely serious, and to discuss what further action is necessary to minimise further spread of the virus. I will set out the decisions we reached shortly. However, I can confirm now in summary that we have decided to introduce from midnight tonight for the duration of January a legal requirement to stay at home except for essential purposes. This is similar to the lockdown of March last year. However, before I set out these decisions in more detail, I want to take the opportunity to explain in some detail why they are so necessary. In the past few weeks, there have been 2 significant game changers in our fight against this virus. One, the approval of vaccines, is hugely positive, and it does offer us the way out of this pandemic. But the other, the new faster spreading variant of the virus, is a massive blow. And possibly the most simple way of explaining the challenge we face right now is to compare it to a race. In one lane, we have vaccines, and our job is to make sure they can run as fast as possible. And that's why the government will be doing everything we can to vaccinate people as quickly as possible, and I will say more about that later. But in the other lane is the virus, which, as a result of this new variant, has just learned to run much faster and has most definitely picked up pace in the past couple of weeks. To ensure that the vaccine wins this race, it is essential to speed up vaccination as far as possible, but to give it the time it needs to get ahead, we must also slow the virus down. And because it is now spreading faster, that means even tougher restrictions are necessary. The evidence, Presiding Officer, is now compelling that the new variant is up to 70% more transmissible than previously circulating strains, and that it may add as much as 0.7 to the R number. And according to recent analysis of PCR test samples, it appears that the new variant already accounts for almost half of all new cases, and faster spread is undoubtedly driving the very serious situation we now face. Today's case numbers, 1,905 new cases, with 15% of tests being positive, illustrate the severity and the urgency of the situation.
All right, guys, so this is the update I have for you for now. That is why I said subscribe to this platform so that you can be getting our updates. You who have not subscribed, watching every time, please just do me a favor by subscribing. This simply means that anytime I just upload my video, and then you have to see how it looks like. If it's not for you, it might concern someone who is close to you, and then you can help me to share out this video. So guys, stay blessed. Till next time we meet together, I still remain your boy Prince TV. Ciao.